Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman, W4CY Radio, and we're on our weekly Positively Pipeman segment. And this part of the segment is, oh my God, this guru has been our pet health guru for 18 years and longer, and basically has an amazing show called Pet Health Cafe, and he's our resident pet expert as far as health and everything else, but also health for humans. So let's welcome to the show, Bill Bachaki. How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's like, first off, I can't believe that we've been doing this as long as we have. Number one, where did time go? I used to be a young man. I mean,
I know, right?
And it's, it's just all the stuff that we're finding out today. As far as the health industry is concerned, the nutrition world is learning, we've been screwed. I mean, I can't put it any other way. We've been screwed. We've been lied to. We've been, all the fake foods, all the fake medicines, diagnosis. Doctors can't diagnose anything anymore. Veterinarians don't do any diagnostics. It's crazy. So let's just throw a weird label on it, and let's just call everything autoimmune.
Yeah, it's true in humans too. It's like everybody's got an autoimmune disease now. That's the buzzword.
It's so funny because when they talk about the immune system and the autoimmune diseases, they're talking about the body's attacking itself. Well, the body doesn't attack healthy cells. This is where it all stems from. We've been poisoned. We're being poisoned every day. Radiation, EMFs, food additives, bad water, all of that stuff. And as soon as we take that in, it starts to destroy cells. So technically, yes, the body is attacking itself. It's trying to clean out the dying cells and replace them with good ones. Yeah. And it happens throughout the whole body.
So as far as pets go, what is it that's happening that's poisoning these pets that are causing autoimmune diseases in pets?
Well, first off, we can start with, we put down the water bowl. We're buying bottled water for ourselves. Half the time, we're just taking it out of the tap. We know that our tap water is polluted. It's, they've taken all the minerals out of it, so there's no life in it. It's dead. Chlorine, fluorides, chloramines, all that other stuff that's in it. Microplastics now, another great additive to us. We all need another dose of microplastics. Yeah. And, of course, the water sources, when you look at it, they're drawing off of ponds and streams and lakes and things like that, or even their own lagoons that they've built, and all the chemtrails and all those, the glyphosate from the farm 2 miles down the road is drifting into it. So we're starting out with poison going in the body. The body's going to start, the cells take it up and it starts to kill them. And now we've got this stuff going on. Let's add to it a good dose of, bad food. Fast food made with chemicals and no real food components to it. So we've got that, all the colors. Why does dog food and cat food come in colors? They're colorblind. I mean, that makes no sense at all. So we have that problem. And then, of course, let's look at our household chemicals. Like I said, the chemtrails that's in the water, all that's in the air too, where we walk our animals outside. They're picking it up, absorbing it through their feet, through their skin if they lay down. And so it's just a plethora of poison. And the body's got to get rid of those dead and dying cells. Some of them convert into autoimmune. Obviously, that's what the doctor calls it because that's what they see. There's a disease condition. But on the other side of that, too, the body's going to not only push it out, through the digestive system, but if it's too much, then we're going to see lumps and bumps start to appear, and now we got cancer. So autoimmune goes right into cancer.
Whoa. I, I don't get it. If your body's like trying to clean things out, but it makes it worse, what's happening there that we're going straight from autoimmune to cancer?
Well, it's because the body can only do so many tasks. And when we come into the tumor part of that cancer and stuff like that, that's the body basically building one warehouse. Let's put it all in this tumor, and it's and especially in dogs, they always appear on the outside of the body. The body's pushing it out, but the veterinary medical part, and of course even the human medical part, they don't. They have no concept of what's really going on in the body, how the body actually works. You have to study the physiology. Doctors aren't taught physiology. Veterinarians aren't taught physiology anymore. So if you don't know how the body works, how can you ever fix it?
What a great point, because I don't think anybody really ever thinks of that.
No, they don't. And that's the whole thing. I mean, my viewpoint, my approach to a lot of this stuff is totally different, which obviously makes me a radical. You're just making this stuff up. But when you stop and think about it, if you do have any amount of common sense, which is a rarity today, and you start working through it, it all falls together. It's really easy to follow. We are the sum of what we put in our body, whether it's through injections, whether it's through pills, whether it's through medications. All those are poisons as well. All they're doing is mitigating symptoms, so you don't feel bad anymore. We've been doing a lot of work, especially on the people side. I've been doing a lot with bioavailable hormones. All these people, all these women especially, are on bioavailable hormones, the identicals. They're not identical. It's a chemical compound that hides the symptom of it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Can we show a little bit of difference if we, on the supplement side, if I add, vitamin C, D, K2, whatever, will I see a change if I'm doing a functional blood test? Yeah, I can see a spike, a change in the numbers, but it's temporary. The body gets rid of that as well, and you're right back to where you are. So autoimmune is nothing more. It's like allergies. We talked about this in a previous show where, we didn't go through flu season. We just went through poison season, and now we're into detox season.
Well, I think we're still in poison season. Okay, like I'm celebrating Hanukkah right now. What we eat in Hanukkah, we eat fried foods, specifically latkes and jelly donuts.
Yep.
Exactly. Then you have Christmas, which is just a repeat of Thanksgiving as far as food goes, except add a lot more candy, because you got all the candy canes. But what do you have for Christmas dinner? Turkey or a ham or both. What do you have for Thanksgiving dinner? Turkey, ham, or both.
And both those meats are highly processed. I mean, at my Paleo Pet, we do the naturally raised, naturally processed turkeys. So we're not injecting them with all the chemicals and the salts and the flavors and everything else, which the commercial stuff does. Hams again are cured. I don't know what they're cured from. I just can't get my head around that. I didn't know they were sick, but that makes it even more disgusting.
I don't know. Maybe that's how the Christians came up with making it kosher.
Hey, there's a lot of things on the backside of that. It's really, really funny. It's but when people don't realize what they're putting in their mouth. And
I gotta say, your bird is complaining too, because your bird knows we're poisoning the bird, except for you. But all his other bird friends are getting poisoned, and that's why the bird's speaking up.
Absolutely. I mean, I had a cockatoo that's out of one of our fosters that had a seizure. And when I started breaking it down, because I try to look at the core problems that are going on, I realized that you cannot buy organic seed. It's almost impossible to find it. Everything is freaking sprayed, and we're feeding it to our animals. We're mixing it in our diet, and it's like to make my own blends and stuff like that. I have to work too hard because you can't. And it's funny. In going along that line, I have a company I've been dealing with for close to 50 years, seed company, and they used to do cage bird blends and stuff like that. And I worked with them back in the 70s to do custom stuff. And they kind of shifted their business because of licensing. Their bird seed, bag of bird seed now comes, it's all for wild birds. And it says on the bag, not for pet birds.
Whoa.
Because of the labeling law. You have to package your wild bird seed different than your cage bird seed.
Huh.
Isn't it the same seed?
That's so weird. Like, what? Just because they're caged and in jail, they don't get the same food?
Yeah. It makes you wonder which one is better. You know, are they making garbage for the wild birds and then we can kill them all off? I mean, I know where I live. Lately, there's been almost no wild birds in my backyard. I've got 3 feeders out there that have been filled. One has been filled for probably 4 months, but it's for specific types of birds like finches, cardinals, things like that. See none of them. Why?
That makes me think. I was just up at my daughter's in the Panhandle, and they have a huge bear problem.
Yeah.
But the bears are not indigenous to that area. Those were problem bears, generations ago that were put there. And so now all the bears are being brought up as problem bears. But the funny thing is when you read what not to do, don't put out bird feeders. So maybe that's the whole plan. They put the bears there, so you don't put the bird feeder there. So you kill off the birds, and there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's state law here in Florida. It's against the law to feed wild animals. So even a bird feeder is technically illegal, but that changes the environment, and that's what the whole thing is. I mean, I watched a documentary a couple days ago where they reintroduced bison out in the Texas Panhandle, in a desert, almost no vegetation at all. The whole ecosystem changed within 18 months. They thought it was a 10-year project.
Huh.
It went back to natural. The natural vegetation came back. It stirred up the soil, and the seeds are still there in the prairie, like especially out west. In the prairie land, the seeds are like still in the soil, and once that's disturbed by the right animals in the right conditions, all of a sudden everything changes. It goes back to natural. We've tried to micromanage everything, and in the process, we create all these problems. Like when we started out, autoimmune. It's just the body doing what it's supposed to do. And,
so what's the solution?
Obviously, you have to, going up the food chain, basically, if you will. I think we have to get rid of the people that are making the decisions on what to ban, what's allowed in food, what's allowed in the soil, managing what crops we raise so that we can, pay our bills. I mean, we want to help John Deere sell $1 million combines. So we're not going to plant tomatoes and green beans anymore. We're not going to do the root vegetables that are natural plants. We're going to do something that's synthetic, but we're making money for the big companies. And that's, of course, that starts out a lot of it in government. And, it's the lobbyists. Who's going to make money? So we have to, the solution, get rid of the government. I mean, I'm sorry, but,
I don't think they'll like that. So we might want to say that quietly.
I know. But basically, when you look at it, I mean, they're making $175,000 a year as a congressman, and they end up in 2 years a multimillionaire. I mean, we have to, as citizens, understand that we're being scammed, and they're not looking out for us; they're looking out for their own pockets. And so I mean, yesterday or the day before, I got there was a news break that in the United Kingdom, they're outlawing the sale, and they actually made the suppliers go into stores and take it off the shelf of cordyceps and of turkey tail mushrooms because we don't know enough about them, except that we know that it's a detoxifier that gets rid of cancer. So it's illegal to sell it now.
Well, there you have it. It might be illegal to keep your pets healthy.
Yes.
But if you do want to keep your pets healthy, where do they go?
They can start out on the Pet Health Cafe, which is my podcast that we've been doing for 18 years now. It's a good place to start. A lot of information there every single week. We try to keep it fresh, try to keep bringing you the latest ongoing things. Of course, My Paleo Pet is our retail store and our website and our web store. Buy the good stuff, the clean stuff. I do my due diligence. I go to the farms. I actually inspect what we do, what they're doing to supply us. We do third-party testing. That's mypaleopet.com. And, of course, I'm available for consultations through that website, through the store itself. And we try to get you the best information you can. And but the thing is, you can buy all the herbals and all the foods that we offer to you. But if you take that jar of herbals and you put it in your cupboard and you don't use it, guess what? It doesn't work. Yeah. I mean, I get clients coming in all the time. My dog's got cancer. My dog's got autoimmune. My dog's got this. And we do special formulations for that. And it's like, okay, this is what you need. Oh, I have that. When did you buy it? I can look it up on my computer. You bought that 5 years ago. It's a 2-month supply. What's wrong with this picture? You have to do it. You have to do it.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of times, too, people are lazy, but then wonder why they don't feel good and they get lazier. It's because you're not doing what your body needs. So tune into the Pet Health Guru here in the Positively Pipeman segment of the Adventures of Pipeman on Pet Health Cafe. Go check out My Paleo Pet, and we'll be back next week to end the year with CBDs.
You got it. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you, as always, for giving us a wealth of information, helping our pets and our humans. Pet Health Guru.
All right. Bye-bye.
Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns May 14th through 17th with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, and Shinedown. Plus, Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, The Offspring, Sublime, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Marilyn Manson, and so many more. Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to 17th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at sonictemplefestival.com. Welcome to Rockville. Returns to Daytona International Speedway, May 7th through 10th with Foo Fighters, My Chemical Romance, Guns N' Roses, and Bring Me the Horizon. Plus, Turnstile, Five Finger Death Punch, The Offspring, Breaking Benjamin, A Day to Remember, Godsmack, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville, May 7th through 10th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at welcometoRockville.com.
Hey, you're listening to The Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio. And man, we were talking a couple weeks ago, I think it was, about raising prices. But I think today on the Positively Pipeman segment here with Michael Barbarita of Powerful Business Strategies and Next Step CFO, now we got to talk about the other side, cost cutting. What do you think, Michael?
There you go. Hope you're doing well, Dane. As businesses face increasing competition, market volatility, understanding your financial landscape is critical. It's always critical anyway, but cost management isn't about saving money. It's actually about allocating resources wisely and ensuring sustainability and setting the stage for growth. And every dollar saved can be reinvested back into the business, fueling innovation and fueling expansion. Business owners need to understand the intricacies of cost management and how can be a real game changer for the business. And you got to remember that in business, every penny counts. So making sure yours are working for you is really critical. And there's two things that I'd like to if I don't do anything today, I'd like to get across these 2 points, because for the most part, business owners don't understand. There are 2 types of costs. There's 2 characteristics of costs. One is fixed costs and one is variable costs. And for the most part, your fixed costs, they really don't change. Like rent is a great example. Or annual software subscriptions. These are fixed costs that really don't change. And then there's variable costs, and these actually change based on your business activity. For the most part, sales. So if you produce more or sell more, you're going to spend more on things like raw materials or commissions or even potentially advertising. So those are variable costs. And so by understanding your fixed and variable costs, you really can get a better handle on your business completely. So, most of your variable costs are in your cost of goods sold. So the costs associated with selling your product or services, those are usually the variable costs. And I included one of them called raw materials, some of them are payroll, direct labor payroll, that is. So not administrative payroll. That's more of a fixed cost. So by understanding your fixed and variable costs, it's a good starting point for cost cutting. And the thing about it is there's a couple of things that I see a lot in terms of areas that business owners can cut costs. Number one is, and this is abused a lot, it's unused subscriptions and memberships, whether it's a software tool that's no longer in use or a club membership that a business owner has forgotten about. These are costs that add up, and they just keep hitting your credit card, and you forget.
Especially now.
Right. And that's something you should review your credit card statement every month to make sure that everything on there is something that's active and that you're actively using it. So that's one thing I see a lot. I'll go through credit card statements with clients, and many times I'll find 1 or 2 subscriptions that, I didn't know I had that anymore. I don't use that anymore. So therefore, there's the opportunity to cut.
I'll add to that too.
Please.
Is people, this is why they do, and companies do this, but people sign up for free trials and then never cancel. And so like me, when I sign up for a free trial, I actually put something in my calendar for when I need to cancel it if I don't want it. So it reminds me, I better cancel this before they charge my card. Because every time you're on a free trial, you have to give a credit card. There's a method to their madness, and, it's actually, that is how I think businesses make a lot of money nowadays, because they give out these free trials and nobody ever cancels till like way down the road when they figure out that they're still being charged.
Right. It's definitely an area that companies make millions of dollars with a year, and they don't have to deliver a service. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And the second one is overstocking inventory. So holding on to excess inventory, as people should know, ties up capital. It leads to increased storage costs, and it's a waste, especially if the item is one that gets obsolete, whether it's perishable or like clothing that goes out of style. It could be as simple as that. Something that's really not perishable, but it goes out of style. No one's going to buy it.
Even think of cars. Okay.
Right.
So if they have a car on the lot that's from the last year, they need to get rid of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So holding on to excess inventory is something that business owners rarely review and understand the impact it can have on cash flow and expense. The other thing that business owners, for the most part, don't do is they don't leverage bulk purchasing. So buying in bulk can lead to significant discounts. And if you're purchasing the same item frequently but not in bulk, you're probably going to end up paying more than necessary. And this is where inventory management comes in. That's why I talked about overstocking. And now this time I'm talking about not taking advantage of bulk purchasing. But when you're efficient with your inventory, you don't overbuy, and you take advantage of bulk purchasing. That's the most efficient flow of inventory that there can be.
I'll add about inventory too, is like so many people I've ever known in my life that are in a business that requires inventory, they stock inventory, and to them, it's like a bank account or their safety net, because that represents, money to them. Okay.
Right.
The problem with that thinking is, first of all, those items in inventory, like you said, they could go out of style. Something could happen where they get ruined. A multitude of things could happen. Whereas if you just had the cash, you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Inventory could be a big problem for companies. Big problem. The other thing is not renegotiating contracts, whether it's with suppliers, service providers, landlords. Failing to renegotiate contracts periodically can mean you're paying more than the current market rate. And, a lot of people believe that just because they're under a lease means they're just married to it. And granted, you don't have a lot of leverage, but if you go back to the landlord with your hat in your hand and show them why you can't afford these the rent increases that are coming up on your lease, I think that there's room for renegotiation, because it costs the landlord much more money to get a new tenant than it does to keep the existing one. And so that's the leverage that you actually have when you're a tenant. And people don't realize that. They just think that they're stuck with it. I have been involved in multiple renegotiations of leases, and very successfully most of the time, because of the fact that it costs more to get a new tenant than it does to keep an existing one. I mean, it's just like it costs more to get a new customer than it does to keep an existing one. It's the same
I talk
concept
about
for
that
them.
all the time in my industry, because my industry is notorious for doing 13-week contracts. And usually in that 13 weeks, the people don't see the results they're looking for yet, and they don't renew. And so they're constantly, and we're talking the big boys,
Sure.
they're constantly looking for fresh blood. And my viewpoint is, I'd rather cultivate what I already have than always having to go out and get fresh blood.
Interesting. Yeah. Yep. I think that's the best practice.
Which leads me to something else too about cost cutting.
What's that?
It is the fact that if you're buying stuff, you talked about bulk, but how about the fact of paying for the year opposed to paying by monthly? Anything you buy, like a service.
Yes.
If you pay for the year, you get a substantial discount,
Yes.
and when you pay monthly, you're going to be paying a lot more. I think, funny as it may seem to bring this up, but one of the biggest offenders of that is people that sign up for online dating sites, because a lot of the online dating sites, they'll charge like $99 a month or something like that. But if you pay for a year, you can get it for $199 for the whole year, and people still pay monthly. And I'm like,
I know.
Oh my God, what's wrong with you? And
they
they think, because I'm going to meet somebody, I won't need it for a year.
Yeah.
But
you're right. They do that with other subscriptions too. I mean, they'll pay the monthly instead of upfront, and that's where the efficient use of capital is critical.
Mm-hmm.
And what business owners, for the most part, can't appreciate. The other thing I see, Dean, is late payments, late fees. That adds up tremendously for a lot of business owners, because they just don't have an organized methodology to pay their bills. They have the cash, but it's not an organized methodology to pay your bills. Another thing I see is I'll see balance sheets that have $300,000 of cash, and they have a credit line that's outstanding for $100,000, and they're not paying down the line of credit, where they could save interest. And the interest now on lines of credit anywhere from between 8 and 10%, not like it was during the COVID.
Right. Or how about these little stupid fees that people like, even late fees, like people are like, well, it's no big deal, it's only $10.
Right.
Okay. But add up all those $10.
Oh my God. I showed a client the other day who had late fees, and all this interest stuff that added up to $3,000. And he said, that's impossible. They're only like $10, $15 a pop. And then I showed him the detail, and there was like, 30, 40, there was like 100, literally 100 $30 charges.
Banks are huge financial institutions because of that. I have an ex-wife that before we got married, her bank account had $500 in overdraft fees every single month. Single month. And people don't pay attention to that. And then you get an overdraft fee because you got an overdraft fee that made you even more overdrafted. And it just adds up, and people don't pay attention to how much it's really damaging them.
Interesting. And the other thing I want to talk about is insurance costs. With my clients, insurance costs are getting way out of control. And I'm not recommending what I'm about to say, but I at least want to let business owners know that there is an option out there potentially. And that is, I'm going to say it, I don't know, but self-insuring. And I'm going to tell you why. Here's what I've been finding. And it takes a lot of guts to do this. And that's why I don't recommend it, because I don't think I'd even do it. But with respect to insurance costs, especially liability, there's certain insurance that you have to deal with, workers' comp, for example, that you have to have that. That could go up to the moon, and we really don't have any recourse. But some of these liability insurance policies now are getting really ridiculous. I have clients that every single year their liability insurance is going up 20%. What I see happening though is what you could do. If your liability insurance is like $100,000, you take $50,000 of that, you self-insure, you take $50,000 of it, you put it in a fund, a separate reserve for a potential lawsuit. And here's what I found. Because most of the lawyers' lawsuits are contingency based. And they're contingency based because they know that the insurance companies have this pool of big bucks that they know they'll get, right? It's certain money. And that's why there's so many contingency cases, because the lawyers know that there's a pot of gold at the end that they can attach, they can grab, they can get. Whereas if you are self-insured, the pot of gold isn't as great. And I've seen situations where lawyers have actually backed off from suing because the pot of gold, there was no insurance to pay it.
Well, perfect example of that in personal life is auto insurance. So I don't know if you know this or not, but if you are properly insured, the judge, if you ever have a lawsuit, will stay within your limits. And if you're not, they won't. So in other words, you could think you're saving money by going for the minimum liability, 10, 15,000 or whatever. And the judge will look at it as like, you're underinsured and screw you, I'm going to make you pay. But if you have like 100, 300, that even if this lawsuit's for $1 million, it's going to stay within that 100.
They're going to stay within the range. Yeah. That's amazing. And vehicle insurance is something you really. I'm talking strictly liability insurance in terms of trying to self-insure. It's getting ridiculous. I mean, my clients are paying inordinate amounts of money for insurance.
Yeah.
And they're hesitant to switch because what's happening is their trade association is recommending this certain insurance. And usually when they do that, that usually is the best insurance because they're pooling all these risks. But I don't know if the insurance companies are taking advantage of it. I mean, I was just talking to an arborist. He has this policy that is recommended by the trade. There's a number of risks that are in that pool. The number, the premium should be low. And the premium's increasing 20% this year. I mean, God, it's just insane. So that's been a really, really challenging thing for business owners. And I just want to throw out the concept, just to conceptually throw it out there. I'm not recommending anybody does it, but if somebody has enough fortitude, maybe in fact they might consider it.
You listen, it is a good idea. I agree with you. I own the insurance agency and I still don't self-insure, but it is one of the best ideas.
So anyway, so what I'd like to offer your audience, Dean, is I have a workbook called Cutting Cost and Creating Cost Efficiencies. And it's a step-by-step implementation workbook. It's not just information. It's actually an implementation plan in the workbook. And I'll be happy to offer your to your audience free of charge simply by going to my website, nextstepcfo.net, and then hit the contact button, fill out the contact form, and in the message box, put cost-cutting workbook. And I'll be happy to send that off to you.
Nice. I think everybody needs that nowadays with the increased prices. You need to do some cost cutting to survive. You need to get rid of that, trim that fat. Okay, because there's a lot of it, and there's a lot of stuff we're spending money on as business owners that we're not getting anything out of it, nor are we even using it.
Right.
It's like adjusting. It's like when the yellow pages were popular. Do you know that most businesses advertised in the yellow pages not because they got business out of it, because they felt they couldn't afford to not be in it, but yet it wasn't producing any money to them, so they were spending a lot of money they didn't need to spend, but it was that psychology of, oh, I have to have it, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, Michael's here to tell you, if it's not benefiting you, you don't have to have it. So
you got to track that stuff, because it's otherwise you're not going to be able to make logical decisions. You're going to just make decisions based out of fear, which is what Dean just explained on the yellow page scenario.
There it is. So thanks again, Michael, for some great insight, great advice, and some free information that people need to take advantage of. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Great to be here, Dean. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.